You are recording. Phone lines are up and running. Please start.
Great, thank you, Matt. Good evening, everybody. Prior to the start of this meeting, the board was in executive session where we were going over contract negotiation and a personnel issue in Ohio, in fact. So at this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Julie, would you do roll call, please?
Sure. Barbara Dane.
Here.
Tim Frazier.
Here.
Pat Braden.
Here.
Dave Conlon.
Here.
Amy Rivera.
Okay. Thanks. And we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We are going to start off this our meeting with one item of recognition this week, and that is for our special ed director, Terry Delalio, who is leaving us. It's, well, you'll be missed here, and I know Deb has some things prepared.
So I've been an educator for over 35 years, and I've worked with several directors of special education and human resources during that time. And Mrs. Delalio has been successfully juggling both hats. The first time I've worked with somebody that had both positions. It's been a pleasure working with her for the last 4 years. She's smart and extremely dedicated. Under her leadership and perseverance, the special education program has not only served spring students, but students from the surrounding districts on the East End. She's supported her department, including special ed teachers, speech therapists, psychologists, social worker, occupational therapists, physical therapists, ensuring that they had the professional development, the supplies, the materials. In fact, her replacement has said that we are really in very good shape as far as supplies and materials go, because Carrie has made sure that they have everything they need to service our students. She's chaired CPSE meetings, CSE meetings, and provided opportunities for our parents to advocate for their children. She's been an integral part of the reopening plan for the last year. She has had to turn on a dime looking for staff in the building to find out if they were a contact of a contact, and done it with professionalism and with such care that many times you didn't know where she was and who she was going to find because of her confidentiality. She's done all of this, by the way, bringing up 2 young children, which I remember those days of juggling both a career and children and a spouse. So on behalf of the Board of Education and all the students in Springfield, we wish you only well on the new endeavor. We really do.
Thank you so much. And I will miss you all in our community. But thank you for the good. No, I've been here 7 years.
I've been working for the last 4 years.
Here, the 2 hardest jobs in education are HR and special ed. And there are not too many people that get to experience both of those at the same time. Again, over the 7 years you've been here, obviously you grow professionally in so many different ways. So I know we're going to miss you, but I also know that you're pursuing your career for moving forward also. Diversity is a great thing, and sometimes moving on it's not that easy. In my case, moving to different places, working with different people, really always adds to my growth as a professional. So we all, the board and community, just wish you the best, and we know you'll be very successful whatever you go, whatever you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, and now we have time for a capital project update. And we have Derek Van from Marquis here, and Here's Jim Whitey from PBS.
Good evening. I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you for having us tonight. Tonight's presentation is the second one for August. So section 1 is going to speak about the work progress since about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. The planned work for the beginning of September, and then some of the latest construction photos of the work that's happened in the past couple of weeks. So starting with the August update, continuing reconstruction of the old gymnasium, area F, which consists of the new small group art and music rooms. They were doing metal stud framing, MEP rough finish, drywall, tape, and spackle. The space is currently 80% complete, with the remaining scopes of paint, ceiling, and floor refinishing. Continuing reconstruction of the existing art rooms, metal stud framing, drywall, MEP rough fins, VCT flooring, tape, and spackle. That area is 90% complete. Remaining scopes is interior wood trim, ceiling, and casework. Beginning reconstruction in area A for the administrative staffing offices. That work is 70% complete. Remaining scopes are spackling, paint, ceilings, and flooring. Casework by district. Next one is complete metal stud framing, MEP rough finish, drywall, tape, spackle, painting, ceiling grids in PPS and assistant principal's office, which we call area B. That area is 95% complete. The only remaining scope is refinishing of the wood floors. Complete installation of VCT flooring in the new addition corridors and classrooms. So the installation is completed in the classrooms. They're cleaned and waxed. I believe the district has started loading some of these rooms. The hallway and the tech room are the last areas that are going to be cleaned and waxed. Continued installation of interior, exterior doors and window systems. We have that 80% complete. The last update, I advised 6 window openings were missing. But since that update, they have been delivered and are starting to be installed and will be 100% for the start of school. Beginning reconstruction in the existing gym and west egress area F for new windows and egress door system. That's 90% complete. Doors and windows have been installed. Only remaining scope are the metal panels above the exterior doors at the gym area. This is a continuation of August work, so continuing reconstruction of the small group and special education rooms in area D. Metal stud framing, drywall, tape, spackle, priming, painting, ceiling grid, and light fixtures. This area was originally the boys and girls locker rooms and is currently 95% complete, with the remaining scopes being finishing the ceiling tiles and some of the MEP rough ends like light fixtures, smoke detectors, and such. Next item is completed installation of storm drain, leaching pools, catch basins, grates, and cast iron downspouts in the new parking lot. That's 100% complete. Complete installation of sidewalks and curbing for the new parking lot. That's 100% complete. Complete installation of new playground. That's 85% complete. All playground equipment is installed. Only remaining scope is the rubber safety surfacing. Continue construction of new garage overhead door to be installed week of 8/23, which is this week. That project's 98% complete, expecting the new overhead door to be delivered and installed the end of this week. Complete demo for the receiving area and bus break room. The demo is 100% complete. Complete installation of roofing curbs and rigging of equipment, 100% complete. Completed installation of lockers in new girls and boys locker rooms, 100% complete. Continuing installation of new gymnasium floor. We have it 80% complete. All the subflooring has been installed. The maple has been installed as well. And the remaining scopes are the sanding, striping, and sealing of that floor. Moving to beginning of September work. Complete reconstruction of old gymnasium, area F, small group rooms, art and music rooms, projected to be completed September 3rd. Complete reconstruction of existing art room, projected to be completed September 3rd. Complete reconstruction of area A for the administrative staffing offices. This area is projected to be completed with the exception of the casework, September 7th. Complete reconstruction of Area C, New West Egress. This is projected to be completed by September 3rd. Complete installing interior, exterior doors and window systems. Also projected to be completed by September 3rd. Complete reconstruction in the existing gym and west egress in area F for the new window and egress door system, projected to be completed by September 3rd. Complete reconstruction of the small group and special education rooms in area D, projected to be completed on September 1st. Continuation of September, beginning of September work, complete asphalt paving and line striping for new parking lots. That's all projected to be completed by September 3rd. They're starting the binder course Wednesday this week, which is the first of 2 courses. There's a binder, then a top. Both will be done in a couple phases, just due to the sheer size of it. Complete reconstruction of receiving area and bus break room, projected to be completed by September 3rd. Complete installation of new gymnasium flooring, projected to be completed by August 30th, which will allow for the installation of the bleachers, which are projected to start August 31st or September 1st and be completed by September 8th. Complete installation of new chairlifts in area A and F, projected to be both of them completed by September 3rd. Complete installation of rooftop equipment for areas A, which is the main office, and area F, the old gym area, projected to be completed by September 3rd. Installation of metal trim fascia for the facade of the new addition. This, as stated last update, will go into the school year, but all the visible areas are projected to be completed before students arrive on the 9th. Moving into some of the photos, this is just an aerial photo, just giving you an overview of nearly the entire site. The back left portion of the building is the new addition. You can see the fields and the parking lots and the new driveway. So this is a close-up of some of the site reconstruction, and it's one of 3 photos of the playground. This one's a little bit further back, just showing you some of the playground system that has been installed. Here's a close-up of the playground system. All of the playground, as stated earlier, all the components are installed. Just the next piece is the rubber surfacing, the safety surfacing. I think I skipped a photo there, but this is the portable building, is in the near portion of the photo, with the bus area to the left of that building, the receiving area to the right of the building. The plywood you see is awaiting the overhead door. In the foreground of the photo is a new garage, and that is also awaiting the overhead door, which is projected to be installed the end of this week. You can see the driveway where the asphalt's going to start on Wednesday. Some of the fencing and new sidewalks and curbing also can be seen in this photo. Here's a close-up of the garage. The door has been installed. That's, just the access door. And then again, the overhead door is going to be installed the end of this week. Some of the exterior signage. The right photo is the gym, showing you the home of the Ospreys. This is the new irrigation well being installed and the main leading off of it, which has been completed. We're just waiting. Oops. What they did there. I really jammed that up. All right. This is the existing gym. 2 new windows that were cut in and new egress door. In the beginning of the presentation, I talked about metal panels over the doors. That yellow board, that's where those metal panels will be installed. This is the new locker room. You can see the epoxy floor and the newly installed lockers. This is the new gymnasium. Left photo shows you the subflooring it's a floating floor system, which has some shock absorbers underneath it. The right photo is showing the maple laid out. And then this is the gym floor with all the maple installed. And as mentioned earlier, the next step is sanding it, sealing it, striping it, and then doing a final sealing coat to it. And then followed by the bleachers. This is the new addition corridors with the VCT installation. They just have to do some cove base. And then this will be stripped and waxed. Left photo, again, new addition is the ramp area to the left. It has a different type of tile so that you don't slip on it. And then there's some carpet tile identified in the other photo. This is the existing gymnasium reconstruction with the new corridor, with the music practice rooms, the music/art room, and then the existing gym in the left photo. This is up on the existing stage, a new stairway. I believe it's a storage area up above there. But that's where the stage was closed off from the existing gym, creating its own space. This is the reconstruction of the administrative offices. This is the west egress. This is where we modified the couple classrooms and extended the corridor, creating another egress out of the building. This is what was the existing art room, which is being renovated into the new art room. Again, ceilings are going in as we speak. Casework for the nurses' room is coming Wednesday. And then after the nurses' room, this casework will be installed. This is a new special education room. Again, just some paint required in here and final cleaning. And that completes the update. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a question. You mentioned the
date, September the 3rd, a lot in your presentation. Sounds like everything is kind of funneling into that date. Are you confident that that's going to be the date when most of the things are completed?
I do feel confident with that. I think some areas may even be done a little bit before it, but some areas could be, a day or so after it. I am extremely confident that everything will be ready before teachers come on the 7th, but obviously trying to turn over areas to allow custodians time to set up. But I think that 3rd is a good date, and that a lot will be accomplished from now until then. There are a couple little wild cards, but nothing that I think will impact the schedule too greatly. I think we lucked out with the storm that we had. That was a little nerve-wracking, to be honest with you, leading into this weekend, but I think we got the best case scenario relative to that storm. So we met with the contractors today, and they're working. There's a lot of people on site, maybe 60 people. I think there was 57 workers today. So it's manned appropriately, and most, if not all, the material is on site. So I do feel good about those dates.
Leads to my second question. When these areas are finished in September the 3rd, and especially with administrative offices, the computers and desks and so forth that are going to be moved in there to get set up for school to start, is that something that's in the plan, or is that something you're leaving completely to the custodial staff?
So anything that is not fixed, like casework that's mounted to the walls, for the art room, for example, the majority, if not all of that, is installed by the custodians, or if the district outsourced it to someone else, I'm not sure, but a lot of the loose furniture and reused furniture is the district is handling the installation or placement of that material.
Including the technology?
The technology room, there's a lot of pieces that were part of the contract and are in place. I think only maybe benches the district will be placing into the technology room. But besides that, there's butler block tables that were part of the contract, and all of those are in the space already, and that will be arranged and set up by the contractor.
So Deb, the next question is to you. Do you think that's going to, we'll be able to move all that stuff and get it all set up for?
On the 26th, Friday, pots will be delivered. On Monday, the 30th, movers are coming, Mike.
Don't empty pots, yeah.
So we're going to have additional staff here. How many days, Mike?
4.
4 days.
Okay, great.
So they will,
That's a lot of work right now.
they will do whatever needs to be done.
We also had a lengthy discussion today with JVR, who in their contract in the new areas of the building are to install smart boards. They're going to give us a credit back. John Gibbons was able to find another service provider and all they do is install those smart boards. So I felt it was more prudent to have a company like that come in and do the installation. They're going to bring a crew in, and they'll have those smart boards, 22 of them, I believe, up and installed and working in 2 days.
Great.
And I'll be calling out to LIC and to see if they have any extra technicians that they can go in this, being in the district or wherever to help our guys. Everybody is working together to make this happen. It's not, well, that's not my job. Today our guys rolled up their sleeves for 4 wires, Everybody's willing to do what they need to do for this building to be ready. So even if the business office is still in the trailer, we're okay with that.
Your concern is the students, the administrators and the travel to.
Correct.
Yeah, we're going to have the trailer out there until the end of October. So
Okay.
we're going to be fine staying out there at least until we get the furniture in, and then we can move into the main office. Furniture's expected to be here somewhere around the end of September, maybe the first week of October.
And then what we'll do, after everything's in, the principal, the assistant principal, council, we will go through the building. We know that there are teacher desks and chairs that are just falling apart. We didn't want to buy anything new until we emptied the pods, but we're already seeing as the custodian moves a bookcase that it just crumbles. Everything on wheels is where we want to go, and my colleagues are doing the same thing. It makes it easy for custodians to move things, but it also makes it cleaner. If you move a bookcase that hasn't been moved in 20 years, you'd be surprised what you find behind that bookcase. So that's our intent. It'll be a slow process, but we will make that list as we go around the building so that everything looks really nice, especially for our kids. We've already ordered stools for the new science ring, so tables were included, but the stools weren't included. These are the kind of things that we ask for everybody's patience as we discover what wasn't ordered, what was ordered. And again, there's a back order. On everything you order, we're getting told it could be months before we see some of the stuff.
Yeah, just show that the line item subject list of the furniture.
Not only a line item, but remember, we have a lot of ESSA money, especially when it comes to looking at outdoor learning environments. Okay, so the grants are being written now as we speak. Mike and I have already reviewed the budget for that. So they're recommending on this ESSA money one-time expenses. Now put staff on it, something that you can't keep the following year when the money dries up.
And we have built into the budget $175,000 to transfer to capital for some of the district-provided hardware to go into the building. I think that'll be sufficient to cover the majority of it.
But there is a cap on it, still spending, so.
Oh, yeah, we can't overspend on the demo project. Mike, you recently got that, but didn't have a chance to review that.
What the financial for
Yeah.
John Wood, I just got it this evening.
I know.
So I haven't had a chance
We
to
got
look
it
at
like
it.
at 6:35.
But we still have a little
Yes.
bit of money left after everything else is said and done.
The one on that next work session, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Oh, yeah,
we'll be in
absolutely.
a position to present that to you, for sure.
So Derek, one last question from me. How are you feeling?
Personally, I feel good. I think you're in good shape. I think the quality of the work, which is very important, I'm sure to the end user, but also to us and to BBS. So it's not like everyone, although it looks like maybe it's being rushed, it's being done properly. And there's going to be a punch list, which is pretty much unavoidable on any project. But I think the quality of the work will be reflected in the punch list. That I don't imagine the punch lists are going to be too extreme, which is a good thing. And I feel very good about life safety. And by the time students get in, that the building's going to be very safe and very functional. Maybe some touch-up paint and some minor things, but there's a whole process that follows behind the opening of these schools. And we work in conjunction with BBS, and during night shifts and breaks, the punch list items will be completed during those times.
Jim told me you were an expert at punch lists, so I'm going to take you on your word for that.
I heard Miss Winter is an expert in punch.
Now you have the opportunity. There you go.
Hey, Doug, I got a question. The residential will apply to have a, certain certificate before we take occupancy. Will we have all the certificates, or is it required certificates before we take occupancy of the classrooms?
Yes, so maybe Jim Wade could probably weigh in on that more. They do handle that component.
Yeah, when we have getting close to the point where we can have a fire marshal do a pre-walkthrough, we'll have that scheduled in the next week. That'll give us an opportunity to hear from the fire marshal, specifically what he needs to see completed or done, or at least see the state of where things are at. So when he comes a week later to do his final walkthrough, there aren't any real surprises. So after he completes the walkthrough and issues his report, then we accompany that with paperwork that gets submitted to the state for a certificate of occupancy. That'll have to, after the form is filled out, the superintendent will have to sign that so that we can get that submitted right away. So that'll be something that we're going to start working on, starting the end of this week and into next week. So it's all ready to go before school opens.
Fire marshal's been in already once, so he did probably be back by the end of the year.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Jim, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
You too.
Ready for the next one.
Okay, so at this time, we have time for public commentary number 1, which is restricted to items of board business. That includes personnel and finance. At this time, does anybody have a question on any of those items? Matt, do you have anybody calling in for public commentary number 1?
We have 0 callers. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead into personnel. Great. Kelly, is this your final personnel?
This is my final personnel. Yeah, here we go. Final performance. I hope I don't mess it up. Okay. So A are your stipend appointments for fall sports. I'm pretty sure same as last year. B are additional hours for John Gibbons to help with IT support. C are substitute for summer school, Francine Connors. D is the appointment of Michael Biggs, probationary social studies teacher, who you met this evening, and he's here in the audience. There's Michael Biggs, welcome.
Can we pull that one separately?
Yes, you can pull, you want to do that one now?
Yes.
Okay, we'll pull it.
So be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby appoints Michael Biggs the probationary appointment of middle school social studies teacher, effective date September 7th, 2021, with an anticipated tenure date of September 7th, 2025, at a salary of $59,026, MA Step 1 plus benefits. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Community that's watching from you. Okay,
Very large shoes to fill.
Thank you. E is the appointment for Patricia Grande, .2 Spanish teacher. F is the appointment of substitute teaching assistant Margaret Doyle at a rate of 110. G is the appointment of our security guards, Thomas Pagano and Thomas Lambert, for this year. H is the appointment for Spanish-speaking interpreters for the school year. They usually do like our parent-teacher conferences and help us out with open house and things like that. I are the appointments for substitutes for the 21-22 school year. These are our permanent subs that are here 4 days a week. Devin Coy and Dylan Green will be returning. And I will make a plug to the public. If there's anyone you know, certified or non-certified, please email me or Miss Janice, askjanice@springfield.org to substitute for this year. Okay. And then J is the appointment for teaching assistant probationary appointment for Dylan Cucci. And so we're excited to have Dylan back. K is the resignation of physical education teacher Daniela Valences. We did hire her. She got a job closer to home, so we are in the process of looking for a new PE teacher. We have screenings tomorrow. L is the appointment for Brenda Crozier for hourly for September 8th and November 11th. And M is the appointment for ABA services, Sean Forsberg, for the school year. Any questions? Clarifications?
Questions? Then do I have a motion to move personnel items A through C and E through M to consent agenda?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to finance, Mike.
Okay, finance, item A, you have your warrants for July, there weren't very many. Item B is the claims auditor's report for the month of June. Item C is the claims audit report for the month of July. Item D is the shared sports agreement with East Hampton for our middle school students participating in sports over with the East Hampton Middle School and some high school kids. Item E is the contract with Wayne Scott Common School District for health services. You want to stop there because the rest of these are change orders. You want to just run them through.
Julie, am I reading each change order individually, right? Do I need to do that individually or not?
They don't require separate resolutions like to be submitted
Oh, okay.
formally, so I mean, I just have to let them know if they've been approved and who approved them, so.
Then we can just keep going.
We can
Okay.
just do a consent agenda.
All right. Item F is a change order number 4 for site construction with Land Tech Group. This is what we discussed at the last board meeting. It has to do with all of the fencing around the athletic field.
Right.
Item G is change order allowance number 5 for JVR, which is the brackets for the security cameras in the parking lots, in order to fix the cameras to the poles. Item H, another change order for JVR for the additional fan shutdown relays with the fire alarm system, an additional wiring that had to be done. Item I is the allowance to Stalco for casework installation. We purchased a lot of the casework from Nickerson, and it needed to be installed, and Stalco installed it. So they're using $50,000 of their allowance to do that work. Item J is the disposal of the old sign that was on the side of the gymnasium.
That's the one out front, right?
That's the one out front?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one out front.
We disposed of the other one already.
Okay.
It's like, there's other ones.
And that's it for the finance items.
Great, thanks, Mike. Does anybody have any questions on finance at this time? Then do I have a motion to move finance items A through J to consent agenda?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, let's jump into our reopening plan.
John, can I ask you to share that?
Sure, it could be more than taken here.
So tonight, I'm going to review an opening plan that looks very different from previous opening plans. It's in a chart form, and it has more or less the levels of COVID cases that we would deviate if we have cases under a certain amount, COVID cases in East Hampton. We're not going to go by Suffolk County per se, because we know there are pockets in Suffolk County that are not well vaccinated and who may raise those amounts. So for our purposes, we will go by the transmission rate in East Hampton, and we will keep our eye on that. But the chart is easy to read. It's been reviewed with a committee, the Health and Safety Committee, and with our nurses. So everybody had part in, making this plan. What I would like tonight from the board is an adoption of this plan with the resolution, and we can read the resolution, to make it a fluid document. At any time that we get direction from New York State, shift based on those recommendations, of course. You able to bring it up, John? It should be attached, John, to the agenda.
Second.
You want to share it from here, John?
Yeah, I just have the Word document reopening plan, not the chart thing.
Oh, but it's on the board docs.
One below
The chart's on the board docs.
It says draft reopening plan.
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It says draft. Because the board has to adopt it. And Barbara, you bring up a good point. The opening plans are not required by law. There is no governor's order to have an opening plan. It's suggested. It's suggested that boards adopt reopening plans. Again, they're guidance. They're not mandates.
So on top of that, because we've been talking about this since the last time we met, we're waiting for some direction from either the Department of Health, which says they're not going to be giving any direction, or we're waiting for the governor to come out with some directions for schools in the state of New York. That hasn't happened, and supposedly it's going to happen on Wednesday.
Correct.
So depending on what the governor puts out there as directions or mandates, we'll have to maybe adjust this plan accordingly.
But if we adopt this as a fluid plan,
Right.
then
No, I think that's a great.
The language of the resolution came from our attorneys who are advising all school districts to have very similar language. We did something very similar last year. We didn't have all our plans reviewed at the time. We did post our plans as we changed our plans to go with the COVID rates. I'll continue until we have that up. So in opening, here's a summary. We will be requiring mask mandates for the district, which means masks will be required indoors except when eating. This is consistent with the CDC guidance and the Suffolk County Department of Health guidance, as well as the American Pediatrics Association. The details are as follows. Students, teachers, and staff will be required to wear a mask during the school day while indoors. Masks will not be required outdoors, for recess, physical education, or any other outdoor learning. Mask breaks outdoors will be encouraged, and our teachers are pros at this. Great, thank you. Next slide, John. The first one. So I kind of just summarized it, but about the mask use indoors, mask use outdoors, none. Mask on buses. This has to do with the Department of Transportation, and this has been mandated. This is not an option for school districts. We will continue with all our protocols on the buses as previous. We will load from the back, from the front, from the back to the front, with the exception of our kindergartners, they will sit in the front. We will continue to have bus monitors. Seating will be assigned. The big difference from last year is we are permitted to load the buses fully. That means 2 to a seat, which means 66 versus the 41 that we had before. Okay? We will not be doing temperature checks. The guidance came out that you can have COVID and not have any symptoms, so the temperature checks are not going to really make a difference. We are going to require our visitors to wear masks, not outdoors, but indoors. Physical distance. This changed last year, if you remember, from 6 feet to 3 feet.
Right.
That's why we're able to empty those pods. Here's where we have to be very careful. 3 feet to 3 feet for students wearing masks consistently and properly is very important. 6 feet student to teacher, unvaccinated, masked or unmasked. So those teachers that are unvaccinated need to keep a 6 foot distance versus 3 foot distance. Physical distance in the halls. With our new construction, we took the tape off the middle of the hallway. We do not see that there's going to be a problem in the hallways with lockers. The lockers will be used because we can spread out. We have new space. No physical distancing on the buses. Outdoors, no physical distance. Another good news here, no daily survey for our parents or our staff. And we are allowed to share materials. It's been proven that this virus is not on surfaces, although we will stress hand washing. We will allow our children to go to art, go to music, go to technology, and use our beautiful space. On band chorus will be 6 feet apart. Again, not for our COVID rates of under 700 cases in East Hampton, but if it starts to go up, we'll start to ask them to physically distance. Again, the space is so beautiful, so much natural light, windows that can be opened. Our buses will still be required to have ventilation. So we're in a totally different place with these new facilities than we were last year at this time. The recess, we're not worried about social distancing outside. School events, I want the parents to be very patient with us. We want to open, and we want to open safely. We'll review all of our special events, our assemblies. You know, we will have to look at COVID rates. But again, I think that some of these things are possible with our new construction to space people out safely, wearing masks. And of course, taking advantage of the outdoor environment. We're hoping to have superintendent's conference day in our courtyard where we can all gather and be together. If it rains, we may have to be in separate locations throughout the building and use a virtual platform for us all to get together. Remote instruction is totally new. We will not be offering any remote instruction unless school is closed for in-person learning by an executive order. Okay? When that occurs, we will go to our remote schedule, which the principal will post on the website and of course share with our parents again. There should be no deviation really from what we've had in the past. School closings for contact tracing, we don't anticipate any. We did a really good job. We all divided and conquered. We all had responsibilities to make sure we did our contact tracing very quickly and efficiently before everybody either went home or before anybody had to come to school the next day. Field trips, we're saying yes. We're excited. Home hospital instruction for quarantine students of 10 days or more. As we know, if a virus runs in a family, a student could possibly be out of school for more than 10 days. Then our home hospital instruction will kick in. That's 5 hours a week for elementary students, 10 hours a week for students in grades 6 to 8. We always go to the child's teacher first if they want to do it, for the consistency in the instruction. And if they don't, we'll go to another teacher in the building to provide that support to those students who end up being quarantined extensively. The question for staff that end up having to quarantine because either they are sick or because they are unvaccinated will be determined by the administration if they can work from home. Not all staff can work from home. Quarantining, we don't expect any quarantining. If masks are worn regularly and our kids are 3 feet apart and our windows are open and we continue to use our MERV filters well, there should be no need to quarantine groups of students. We will continue to use our hospital grade disinfectant as well as cleaning high surface areas during the school day. Just good practice. We learned that it helps keep other viruses away, so we're going to continue to do that. Right now, we can't ask for proof of vaccination, but of course, if a child gets infected in a classroom or a teacher gets infected, we need to know the status of that person in order to do the proper contact tracing. And it will be kept confidential. Unvaccinated for sports, again, there is no requirement for our middle school kids to be vaccinated to participate in sports. If we have any students that go up to the high school and they should somehow change that, our students would have to comply with the mandates of the high school and section 11. So it's really easy to read. And what I will do, besides posting this online, I have a summary of what I've just spoken about, and it's been translated into Spanish, and it will go onto the website. So there'll be a verbal presentation as well as the chart.
Is that possible, you might not have a phone call on this, you have to avoid people, but I know next week will be real busy. The school back together, is there a comment section to this on the website, so someone might comment into it?
Sure, I would strongly recommend that they email me and I can have John set up a special email, questions regarding reopening plans so that they don't get confused with my other email. Because of the phone system right now, we are limited in phone communication right now, and cell phones don't work very well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know, if they're trying to open the school, that's it. It might think you avoid them.
Nope.
Beyond avoid them, just can't get the contact with the people out of the, look to one answer, they call you, and then you can't get them. Especially the way to get them easier.
I'll have John set up a special email John Gibbons will attach it to the reopening plan. Any questions or comments, please email this.
Deb, did we have one last year for?
We did.
March 2020.
Yeah, so
I don't know
maybe,
if we want to use that.
no, I don't think I want to use March 2020.
No,
I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back there.
You know, one of the things on social media, there's a lot of different groups out there, and you have a chatter. That I try calling, nobody's there, I try this one, nobody's responding. And if you don't follow social media, you know, I try not to listen to what's on social media, but it's because the phones aren't working, the computers aren't working right, and public doesn't know.
Email has been working throughout this, okay? The email, absolutely, we have not been down as far as email goes, and it's also on my phone. If you go to the website, all the emails are there.
Right, perhaps we should be emailing parents to let them know that for the time being, while we're installing new systems, our phone service is not working as well as we like.
Right.
Please email us if you have any questions about it.
We can do that. But that's only going to go to the current.
Right.
The current students.
Yes, yes, we
But
do
it's a
have,
start, because it all works, they all, putting it on social media or whatever, and it's all to their friends, it's listen, you know, phones are down, or the phones aren't working, at least you know everything about it at school.
Okay. Dave, you have any questions about the plan?
Yep.
so there.
You want to do?
I guess not. So be it resolved that the Board of Education of Springs UFSD hereby adopts the 2021-2022 reopening plan for opening the school/district during the COVID-19 pandemic, and be it further resolved that the superintendent of schools is hereby authorized to make temporary modifications to the 2021-2022 reopening plan in the event that, in the superintendent's sole discretion, the then current circumstances surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic requires that such modifications occur prior to the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Education. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
I just have a question on that. I know I voted on it, that's the right thing.
Deb?
The superintendent's sole discretion. The board of officers to do it.
It's saying next regularly scheduled board meeting,
Okay.
I will tell you what the changes were,
Okay.
okay? But in case something comes down and we've
Fine.
got
Yeah,
activities,
you're gonna do it.
then we gotta do it. Okay? And I'll be sure to include the STA and any other pertinent parties that have a stake in it.
So we'll move on to the principal's report regarding on-school opening and program updates.
Hi, everybody. So I get to tell you about all the good stuff. And it's my pleasure to do so. I have to say, even with all the, the new COVID things going on, I'm excited. I know that everybody who walks into that building is excited. It's palpable. You can feel it. We've been working really closely with the construction crew, the construction manager, and the custodial staff who have been phenomenal in getting teachers into the rooms already to set up. We've already had 15 teachers in there just between last week and today, and there's another 15 to 20 coming the rest of the week. So we're in really good shape. It was moving along faster than we thought it would. So, and everybody that walks in to get their room is just very excited. Everybody's trying to take a peek into the new section, but they have been told you have to stay in your classroom until the big reveal. So that's the exciting part. So thank you very much to this board for making that all happen. And I'm saying that not only as a school administrator here, but as a former parent and as a taxpayer. I can't thank you enough. It's exciting times for spring school. And I want to say publicly a thank you to our custodial staff because they have been working feverishly trying to get everything ready. I mean, moving things from room to room, waxing floors, you name it, they're doing it, and they've been doing it with a smile, and it's been really nice to see everything working together. So as Ms. Winter said, our priority is to open safely, to open in person 5 days, and to not go backwards, but to go forward. We do ask for a little more patience as some of our programming is still under review, as we literally wait for the dust to settle. We really like to bring back every program that we had in place prior to COVID and some. So we are working on fleshing that all out. some of the things that have come to fruition now that everything is sort of in place, the 9-period schedule that has opened up programming so that we meet the PE mandates at all grade levels and get to use that new beautiful gym. We have brought elementary Spanish back to various grades, not all grades elementary, but at least 3 grades will get elementary Spanish through a STEAM lens. So that's something that we were working on this summer developing. We have a enhanced FACS program. We're at the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, so that's exciting, and a FACS room. And we also would like to bring back some of our more popular extracurriculars, like 4th grade opera and middle school play, and of course our sports, but again, it all really does depend on the gathering guidance. And Springs Idol, yes, we're hoping to make a big comeback with Springs Idol. The kids have been asking for that for the last few years. So it is all steam ahead. We full steam ahead. We just have to follow the guidelines, but as Deb said, we're hopeful that we will be able to do all of these things and keep everybody safe and, really just make it a joyful learning environment for all. Does anybody have any questions about programs?
Did Science Olympiad finally come out of the budget since it didn't happen for
It
so
did.
long? Oh,
It
okay.
did, and it was really replaced by robotics.
Right, okay.
So we have 6 robotics teams this year, starting in 5th grade. So we added a grade, and we are going to be looking for robotics coaches coming up. And so that's really kind of taken over. There was some overlap between Science Olympiad has kind of done that over the years.
Is it still a thing in general?
It is, but I think robotics has really taken its place in most of the schools on Long Island. Yeah, it's just a little bit more advanced and a little bit more focused and engineer-based.
Right.
Yeah. And the other extracurriculars, we're hoping to bring back journalism club, and we will have Spanish every day, 6, 7, and 8. And, garden club, courtyard, a lot of outdoor opportunities for the kids.
You got our murals again this year?
Sorry?
Oh, yes, intramurals.
Oh, yeah, intramurals for sure, yeah, that's all been budgeted for.
Just a final note, question about the curriculum process.
Sure, the summer curriculum writing, absolutely. So we had 12 different curriculum writing teams, and some of it was traditional curriculum writing, some of it was planning, co-planning and planning for the school year. And some of the work that came out of that was unit planning for literacy and math, and also civics planning for social studies. And it was nice because we had a committee of teachers and staff members from K to 8. So they're really wanting to bring in more district level civics-based projects, which is really kind of nice instead of being sort of compartmentalized. We work with Diana Koloff, who is one of our math professional developers, and she is continuing our work that was halted with COVID to align our current units in math to the next generation learning standards. And we are going to have some of our coordinators work to use the templates that the literacy coordinators developed in other content areas. So it's been varied. As you said, diverse. It's important to have that diversity, but it's really gotten the wheels turning this summer. It's gotten there was a lot of collaboration, and I think that's going to carry over into the school year. One of the things we were able to do with our scheduling with the 9 periods was do more push-in, and so that you might have a 6th grade ELA teacher pushing into an 8th grade ELA class, or an ELA, a special ed teacher pushing into a different class that they might not normally, a specials class, to enhance those programs and really kind of bring in another angle into more small group learning as well. Sure.
Thank you very much.
Busy.
Yeah, but this is summer.
And then they shuffle us around the building.
Deb, we'll take a quick look at our enrollment report.
Yes. So, if we look at our enrollment report compared to last year, okay, I think I'm going to start to need glasses here.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to join the club. So last year, without pre-K, we were at 648, and we're at 635, that's K through 8. We add the pre-K in, we're at 676 this year compared to last year at 678. Really. Now, when you add the high school in, which is 335 students this year, compared to 329 last year, we're of course over last year by a few students. So our enrollment has not gone down. There were parents on social media asking about pre-K meet and greet, and our pre-K staff have been very patient with us. We're actually getting new flooring in the back coming in Wednesday. So remember, we're still running an E&L program here in this building, so they'll vacate by Friday. And our pre-K school program, which will be in this room, AM and PM. On September 8th, they'll do a meet and greet at 10 a.m. for the morning session, a meet and greet at 11 a.m. for the PM session. Just Kids works a little bit differently because they're with special needs. Those parents will be bringing those students into the room in the back, meeting the teacher on September 9th, the first day of school. But then they do a nighttime orientation on September 17th for the parents. So their program is a little different, and that'll be on Friday the 17th at 7 p.m. So to update the community on pre-K, and we will post the flyers as soon as I get them. Letters have gone out. Monique had brought to my attention some sort of document that I went out to scope. It was an error. It's one of those attachments they attached to the letter that shouldn't have gotten attached, so they'll be revising that to our school parents. There is no fee for UPK, whether it's the scope program or the district program for parents. Okay. I'm in the process of writing the full day program. My narrative is written. I just have to work with Mr. Henry on my budget, and we'll get that out before the September deadline. I think it's September 17th or something like that. Grant has to go out. It is competitive. We do need to show need. I hope I've written a very good argument. We did send out free and reduced lunch forms to every resident parent in the district with a cover letter that read why we were doing that, and that is really concerned. Without a cafeteria, it's hard for us to indicate the free and reduced lunch numbers. So if parents return it, it'll be helpful to us. If not, I tried to make a strong enough argument that our free and reduced lunch numbers are high. I just don't have a cafeteria.
You have classroom sizes?
Yes, I can go over, and I have that for you.
I know, I see it.
So, on the kindergarten level right now, we have 4 sections, and there'll be 13 students to a class. First grade is 4 classes on a grade, and there are 19 to a class. Second grade, there'll be 4 sections, and there'll be 16 to a class. Third grade, the same thing, 4 sections, 16 to a class. Fourth grade, 4 sections, 18 to a class. On 5th grade, there'll be 18 to a class, but there's only 3 sections. So very similar numbers to the grades that have 4 sections. 4 sections for 6th grade, and there's 17 to a class. And on the 7th grade, we have 23 students to a class and 3 sections, and then 3 sections for 8th grade. At a junior high level, you always have to kind of stay at that 10 sections. So sometimes it varies which grade might have 3 and which grade has 4, but the schedule works best with the 10 total sections. Thank you, Pat.
Just a question about kindergarten. You're looking at 13 per class right now. Have you thought anything about combining into 3 kindergartens instead of 4 if you need extra space for, say, pre-K? Is that something you've talked about or thought about?
We haven't talked about it too much, but in my mind, when you look back at last year, what did you have at Eleanor Whitmore? Maybe 27 pre-K students?
27, yeah.
I don't know if the numbers the number of students who originally would have taken advantage of a pre-K program due to COVID are there. So we thought that our kindergarten teachers really could use the smallest class size. I do believe that this grant, I could convert the existing half days to full day. This space is huge. I can see 2 sections here if I can't convert. On average, we usually have about 71 kindergarten students coming in. And I believe the number for half day was always low because we didn't offer a full day. I think if we offer a full day, I'm writing the grant for 42 slots. We can then have the half day slots in addition to the full day slots. So we could probably service every child who the parent wants them to have a pre-K experience.
If you get the grant.
If I get the grant, we can convert to full day.
If you get the grant, you can convert to full day. Okay.
That was our thinking on the small class size.
But we're still staffing kindergarten with a TA and everything.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right now. We are short TAs. Gary's lead here and plugging for TAs, bus drivers. We may have one for you next board meeting. We still need an evening security guard, retired police officer for the
Nurses.
11 to 7, and part-time nurses. And we're paying $45 an hour for our nurses, so we're trying to be very competitive. It's a great place to work. Kids are great, our staff is great. And our hours are flexible. You know, if somebody can give us 2 days a week and not, 5 days a week, we're okay with that. And substitutes. It's fine. We have 2 permanent subs.
Just a question, if you have, just going on, if you did pre-K in kindergarten in 3 sections, with each students to his classroom and 1 TA, right? And we haven't done that way, why?
Because I think there are a large percent of our kindergartners that have not had a pre-K experience due to COVID last year. I think those parents really opted to keep their kids home. Yeah, I mean,
It's more individual attention.
it wasn't required. It's not like, kindergarten where, I have to send my kid to school. It was optional. If parents were working from home, I think they kept their kids at home rather than have them wear a mask all day or have.
That was from March 13th, right? Forward, not from September 1st?
No, from September. It was an entire year.
Full year? Wow. Wasn't tracking time.
Our teachers, when we were on hybrid, our teachers commented that having half the number of kids in the classroom, they didn't feel like they were behind even though the kids were in school 2 and 3 days a week. They felt that smaller class size really helped them keep these kids where they would have been last year. We kept checking in with them, are you behind, are you behind? And they kept saying no, because of the smaller class size, they were able to get through the work a little bit. So, if something changes, by all means, if I find myself with one of these grades exploding, and they have to, because of space.
That's what I'm wondering. I mean, the next level up is 19 students to a classroom, the first grade level. And that's, so I'm just trying to, the rest of them, 16, ideal classroom size, so. And we didn't get Carrie, you did pass right around in the school, we got letters to school to join. Pre-registration, like for kindergarten, like the week before, right?
Yeah. Or the week of, like the first day people come. So I wouldn't really make any, changes for kindergarten until that's set, because parents are like, oh, it's after Labor Day and school starts. Yeah, summer is over, school starts, yeah.
You start to see the buses running.
Yeah.
Usually is when people come out to register. I mean, we are off maybe by 9 children for kindergarten, if you think about it. We average about 71 students.
Right, yeah, I don't know.
So it's low, but it's not significant. 9 students divided among the 4 classes would be another 3 students. Look, I'm very grateful to the board for recognizing that small classes make a big difference. And for the TAs in kindergarten and first grade, that is definitely a luxury that we've seen a benefit for, especially for small group instruction for reading and math.
Totally agree with that, but I still think it's good to be thinking about in case we do have increased enrollment, what are ways in which we can make it work in the best possible way, given where that influx comes from.
We more or less have one flex room, like,
Right.
we really do.
That's better than none.
And no storage. By the way, there's no storage.
Thanks, Beth. An item of old business here, we have to approve some minutes. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the July 13th, 2021 regular meeting and the July 13th, 2021 reorganization meeting?
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye. New business, we are having a special, the annual meeting and walk through the school on September 3rd, and that is at 10 o'clock.
Does that work for everybody?
I've spoken about that.
Do you want to come in at 9 to do the walkthrough and then do the Board of Ed meeting at 10 after you walk through the building? We will have staff recommendations. We'll have the phys ed teacher. She's crossing up thing. No, you have a lot of candidates.
And
We need an E&L teacher, and a library media specialist. Hopefully we'll have some more substitutes by then, maybe we'll have a security guard by then.
Okay.
So I start at 9?
It's a Friday.
Friday. That's the 3rd, the magic state.
Oh, yeah, the third is the magic day.
Should we come in at the end of the day on the 3rd, see that everything's done, or?
I'm gonna be very positive and have you come in at 9.
What are they gonna do all of that?
I was gonna ask you that question, but I was gonna ask you that question offline.
Okay, no problem. And if they're doing the other, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Friday 3rd, walk through at 9 a.m. and then approval of any additional staff.
Yep,
Yeah, just remind me.
I will remind you.
So at this time, we have time for public commentary number 2. If anybody would care to address the board about any issue, have a question, this would be the time for that. And Matt, if anybody is watching, there is a phone number on LTV that you can call in with any concerns or questions.
We do have some.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here to ask the
Oh,
board.
if you could say who you are,
Oh, I'm
please.
sorry. I'm Susan Medeo, and I have 4 grandchildren in your school. 2 of them are under the age of 12, so they can't get vaccinated. So I'm here to really ask the board to consider mandating vaccination for all of the employees of the school. I think that we're way past the point where hand washing and masks is sufficiently safe to keep our children safe, particularly the children, like 2 of my grandchildren, who are under the age of 12 and can't get vaccinated. Many of these children go home where there's an elderly parent there, grandparent, and the risk of one of those children just bringing home the virus to an elderly person, let alone these little children. And I don't understand what would be, New York City just mandated vaccinations in their schools. I think that New Jersey and Connecticut may follow and mandate vaccinations. The Pfizer vaccine has now been approved by the FDA. So I can appreciate people who say that they want the freedom to not have someone else tell them to get a vaccination. I understand that freedom. My point would be their freedom and where my safety and my children's safety begins. And the reason there's absolutely all of the data, all of the medicine, all of the doctors say this vaccine is safe. And I think that in a school situation, it's incumbent upon all of you, that's why you're here, to make this wonderful school safe. My grandchildren come to school here, they're thrilled to walk into school. The first day they walk in, they're happy and excited to come in, and they're enthusiastic. The teacher unvaccinated stands in front of the classroom all day long, comes in contact with 30 or 40 or up to 100 children during a day, testing can be too late. It just isn't feasible. Especially now, I think this Delta variant really is a game changer. And I think that it's honestly incumbent upon all of you who ran for this, and bless you, I can't imagine what you have on your plates to make this work and do it work. But you're here because of the children. And now's the time to stand up for them, for the ones under 12 who cannot be vaccinated. And to say to the people who want their freedom not to be vaccinated, which totally I get, they should have another job. They should not be around children. And they certainly shouldn't be around any child under the age of 12. And I'm not sure why that would be resisted by anyone. And maybe you could enlighten me as to that. And I completely, respect what the opinion would be of why not to mandate that for all employees in the school. If you want to discuss it now.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your speaking up and sharing your opinion with us. I mean, certainly things like that on everybody's mind. We've recently had one, as you know, just today being approved, and I think we anticipate that the governor may be coming out with some things this week that we are waiting to hear what that might be, and then all we can do is learn from that and then move forward from there.
And I know that I've heard that the teachers union is opposed to vaccination, but I also know that the National Teachers Union and Federation are for mandating vaccination. And it's just fighting and going through groups, certainly in other states that are less vaccinated than we are. But only 70% of students are vaccinated. And I think that is something that I'm hoping for very today, and I appreciate you hearing me out. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you for being here and for waiting.
My pleasure. Bye, thank you.
Is there anybody else here to address the board at this time? MJ?
Hi, I have two questions. The first one is what's the private school in Waynescott that we're contracting for health services? There is no private school in Waynescott.
Ross is technically Waynescott. Ross School is technically Waynescott.
Oh, because I mean, it was CTCH, but. Okay, so that's Waynescott, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And the sign that you're disposing of, is that the one that was up here at the corner of the gym so people that were picking up their kids could see what was going on?
No, that one's gone already. We're talking about the one in the front. What will be the new back?
The one in the back of the building is.
So the one that's out on School Street?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You want to see a yard?
Huh?
You want to see a yard?
No, thanks.
Come on.
Christie does.
And did you decide what to do with the one that was donated by the graduating class? The one that sat on the side of the library, the old library?
Actually, we had to get some quotes for what was.
We have quotes.
Oh, we did, okay.
What I was looking at, or charged me was going to look at what they did at East Hampton with the gym, not East Hampton, Rich Hampton. With the gym, they took the logo that was on the gym floor and they put it in a frame and mounted it. We were thinking about just keeping the sign the way it is and mounting it inside and getting a new sign for that, because by the time they renovate that sign, you could purchase a new sign. So we didn't make a decision. That sign is still there. That sign's not coming down when the sign doesn't graduate in class. I just got a lot on my plate right now.
Well, it needs to be reconditioned. If anything happens to it, it'll have to be reconditioned no matter what, whether it stays out on the outside or comes inside.
Or even if they just plexiglass or plate over the top of it.
Yeah, but it really needs some work.
Yeah.
So what we're not planning on getting rid of it at all, just planning to decide where it should go and what we could do to prepare for it.
Okay, thanks.
I like the addition of it.
Yes.
Hi, sorry. I just wanted to make a suggestion that maybe a robo test could go out when we do post the reopening plan to the website, because I know that a lot of people, that alerts them to when things are posted, and I think that would be really helpful. Answer a lot of questions.
Matt, do we have anyone calling in with any questions?
You have 0 callers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else at this time? Okay, in that case, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you for attending, everybody. Sorry.
Matt,
I'm still here. I'm still here.
we have one other meeting, really short.
Take care.
Oh, yeah,
I do have one public comment, just came in for the code of conduct.
okay. Well, let's get back, or Matt, are we back online there?
You're good to go. Please keep going.
Oh, yeah, no, actually, now we have a meeting for our code of conduct. So, I'd like to call this code of conduct meeting to order.
Look, we're all public here. We're all as status quo here.
Right. Okay.
The only comment that I did have from the public is I just received via email from a Nicole or Barbara. And I'll read that.
Sure.
Okay. As parents of a rising 8th grader, my husband and I wish to communicate our strong support of the proposed restorative practices and intervention policy in the code of conduct. We believe it is a wise policy that will deal with behavioral issues far more effectively than the system relies solely on discipline and punishment. In addition, by engaging children in mediation to resolve conflicts and misbehavior, the school will be modeling for children how they can work, resolve conflicts with others in their interactions outside of school, teaching them skills they can use throughout their lives. We strongly urge you to adopt this policy as part of the school's code of conduct. Thank you, Nicole, Barbara, and David.
Very nice.
Thank you. So this was
It's a public hearing to have any community member voice their opinion, just as this person did. And then it's still out until
for another 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
When did it go? When did we bring it up?
We're going to approve it on the September 20th meeting.
Right, okay. So we have until September 20th. If anybody has any questions or comments about the code of conduct, which is currently posted on our website, you can check it out there. It's there for the community approval, so please have a look.
And it's in English and Spanish.
And the school safety plan. Well, any comments on that?
No, that's it.
Any questions from anybody about these items? Okay. Now, do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Now we're done, Matt. Thank you, LPB.
Now we're done.
Now? Okay. Now is good.
You don't want to matter.
Maybe less work.